This is breaking news.
Inside the biggest live game of Dungeons and Dragons ever played. It's a frosty January night in New York City, but Madison Square Garden is red hot. You feel the heat when pillars of flame spit out from black butane tanks that encircle a half-dome stage. The thunder of swag rock is drowned out by the dog whistle cheers of 20,000 people alive with electricity. Under the tiled roof, where Knicks and Rangers banners hang, between walls that often echo with Billy Joel and Taylor Swift, an epic game of Dungeons and Dragons played by Dimension 20 is about to get rolling. An arena spectacle with WWE auras is unusual for Dungeons and Dragons, the famously nerdy tabletop game of fantasy heroics and lucky, or unlucky, rolls of dice. It's also unusual for Dimension 20, a show where Los Angeles comics play serialized D&D games. It is the flagship show of Dropout, formerly College Humor, a streaming service whose organic brand of comedy and feverish fan base make it agile against lumbering corporate giants. At the center of Dimension 20 is Brennan Lee Mulligan. His ringmaster's charisma, chameleonic voices, and occasionally viral socio-anarchist zingers work in concert with his encyclopedic knowledge of Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition to qualify him as arguably the greatest dungeon master alive. Normally, Mulligan's games are filmed in an AA studio, on a domed set that looks like a spaceship's interior, where players sit around a U-shaped table. But tonight, they're inside the garden, standing where Frasier upset Ali, waving to a roaring crowd on a 360-degree stage illuminated by a pattern of LED triangles under a waterfall of golden stars. Tonight, these jesters are turned into rock stars in the heart of Midtown. Since its launch in 2018, D20 has survived a gauntlet of uncertainty, rocked by layoffs from its corporate owners, just before a pandemic sent them all playing virtually in isolation. Now Dimension 20 thrives as one of the most popular tabletop role-playing games, TTRPG, shows on the internet. Their sold-out MSG event, Gauntlet at the Garden, slated to premiere on Dropout in March, affords Dimension 20 bragging rights as the hosts of the single biggest live game of D&D ever. That's even bigger than when fellow D&D troupe Critical Role sold out their Wembley Arena show in October 2023. While MSG is a one-night-only affair that D20 just might outperform themselves later this year, they have more live events set for Los Angeles, Seattle, and Las Vegas. A capacity crowd in the world's most famous arena for a tiny streaming show centered around a 51-year-old game is proof that an online audience can and will log off and show up. It is revealing of Dimension 20 itself, an oasis of warmth in an unmagical and increasingly frightening cold world. Everyone understands storytelling on a profound level. Brennan Lee Mulligan tells Rolling Stone, "Every culture in the world uses it to talk about what matters, to talk about being human. What makes people come back to watch us, season after season, rests on characters people love and stakes they feel in their spine. They feel the weight of these journeys." Gauntlet at the Garden is ineffable for what might still seem like a niche hobby, a game still played mostly on kitchen tables. As the music fades and the cast take their seats, the jumbo screens that normally display Knicks scores now sport the blown-up faces of Dimension 20. Surrounding the headliners are grumpy arena security, who spend the night wearing baffled expressions, watching a sea of adults cheer and laugh and applaud over imaginary characters engaged in battles no one can actually see, and rolls of acrylic dice just 16 millimeters in size. D&D is a game of the imagination, but with the right pieces, the allure for stories that unfold with total spontaneity is no fiction. With his castmates before him, Mulligan, a 37-year-old improv performer with bouncy theater kid energy, ginger red hair, and an AM radio DJ's voice, greets his hometown of New York City. "Hello, one and all," he booms, ringing through arena speakers like the voice of God. Actually, Playing God is kind of Mulligan's deal on Dimension 20. He is its resident Dungeon Master, or DM. It's a complex task requiring many hats at once. Story writer and narrator writer, rules referee, ensemble actor. Mulligan is a virtuoso of impressions. With Midwestern dads and drunk bachelorettes, a few personas he's adopted as DM. DMs, like Mulligan, kick off games of D and D by verbally describing the story. Who, what, why? Before painting more vivid descriptions of the worlds the characters exist. The players in